Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Getting Amongst It, where I get to sit down with Mick Konstantin and we discuss his music and his journey. One of the first songs he ever introduced was a song called I'm Sick of Pitbull almost 6 years ago. Let's start off with playing that song and we'll just get amongst it. Thank you very much.
Sick of hearing people on the radio, songs that just go whoa, it doesn't make sense to me why people love them genuinely. Is this what music is all about? Maybe if I scream and shout, I'll make money without selling out. Well, I am just off. He doesn't sing or rap, but he just talks and uses auto-tune now and then and says, oh baby, yeah, again and again and again. Shows a few full stops into his name for that little bit of extra fame. Well, he knows how to play this game for emphasis. Make sure lyrics are always the same. Lyrics are always the same. Lyrics are always the same. Oh yeah, baby, oh baby, yeah. In the Monaco club, baby, oh baby, yeah. Well, his lyrics, they changed my life, and I can feel it inside. You know, it really makes me wanna cry, 'cause I'm sick of hearing people on the radio, songs that just go whoa, it doesn't make sense to me why people love them genuinely. Is this what music is all about? Maybe if I scream and shout, I'll make money without selling out. Conor McGregor's not bad. Are you having a laugh? What kind of flippin' statement is that? But then he's a millionaire, so if I was him, I wouldn't care and get everyone else to write my songs. Girls in skimpy clothes to dance along, so nobody would listen to me. They'd be all distracted with the girls they see. The final straw came with Pitbull and his lyrical skills, rhyming Kodak with feckin' Kodak. Down my spine sent the shrill, and I simply had enough. And I had to draw a line, so I turned off the radio for the last fucking time. 'Cause I'm sick of hearing people on the radio, and songs that just go whoa, it doesn't make sense to me why people love them genuinely. Is this what music is all about? Or maybe if I scream and shout, I'll make money without selling out. People on the radio, songs that just go whoa, it doesn't make sense to me why people love them genuinely. Is this what music is all about? Maybe if I scream and shout, I'll make money without selling out.
Mick Konstantin, thank you very much for coming and welcome on the podcast.
Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, brilliant. So let's just actually go back to the earlier days. So was music you're always kind of first at an early age?
No, to be honest, it was always sport. It was really family, myself and two brothers, and it was just all sport. My mother made me get piano lessons, I think when I was 7 or 8, something like that. And they lasted about maybe 3 or 4 weeks, because they were on there was during the summer, and it was like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and everyone else was outside playing football, and I was like, I'm not sitting in here when this is going on. So I just I kindly asked my mum, could I quit this and just so I can go out playing again, and she was like, yeah, fair enough.
And it was ga.
Well, that was just playing out in the street at the time, because their street was full of kids, and no one was inside, only me playing music. So I was like, "Feck this."
And why did it come back around? When did it start to come back around?
I remember I'd done it. Then I played the fiddle lessons. Then at the end of maybe primary school, like obviously kind of liked music a bit. I remember in primary school there was one teacher, and she always used to do loads like choir kind of stuff, and I kind of enjoyed that secretly, because you get abused otherwise. But I remember maybe like buzzing when it's going on, but pretend I'm not liking it that much. And then it was TY in secondary school. I would be a free class, I remember, and a teacher came in. We were in the music room for some reason, and this teacher came in. He was a lad, and he was like one of the sporty kind of teachers. And we were just doing work, and there was a piano in the room, and he opened the piano and just started playing it, and it was class. And I was just that's actually savage. I'd never thought that he could play the piano. I had piano at home, and I think I can't remember exactly, but I think it was because of that. Then I said, "Here, feck it, I'll try and teach myself." So just went onto YouTube, and there was loads on YouTube to learn to play.
Yourself?
Yeah. So
how difficult was that, or?
It's not. To be fair, YouTube is unbelievable. Like you can learn anything from a language to how to solve a Rubik's cube.
Once you get over the ads.
Once you get over the ads, yeah. Back then there was as many, I suppose. But it was tedious. I remember because like I think the first song I actually went to learn was the song from Braveheart, and it was like my family were absolutely sick of me playing the same tune over and over. And like to learn it, like I was watching someone else play the song. And I'd have to pause it every 5 seconds and figure out what he did with his fingers, and then I go and copy it and then do that again and again and again. Now there's videos where like there's like a fake keyboard and the keys light up and stuff, and it's easier to see it. But back then there was none of that. They literally had to look at every single thing he was doing with his fingers, and sometimes it's hard to figure out. But done that, and then got involved with a few little things at the end of secondary school with music. And then I remember just before I was going to college in Limerick. And I just thought it'd be a bit of crack to learn how to play the guitar so I could
pull chicks.
Pretty much. I was going to say get a session going, but yeah, it was pretty much to get women, to be honest.
And you played Braveheart on the...
not on the guitar, no. I don't
Hero.
Still play that. Yeah, Hero, yeah. Real delicate, nice, slow songs like that. But
I can do this for you.
Yeah. So that's really how that's when I really started playing music and getting more interested.
And it became more of a passion and started to develop.
Yeah. I suppose I started playing much more and listening to much more music, and
so it really was. And so the mother that pushed it really.
She would, yeah.
And she coming from a musical background.
She claims she would, but she could play the tin whistle, but she plays the same song over and over again, and the recorder. Yeah. My dad actually can play a few. He's German, but like, he plays like the oboe, and I think he can play a saxophone, but he never really does it all around the house. So they have a bit of music in them, I suppose. But
and so when you were getting into the music yourself, then what influences were you looking at?
I was never someone that was like a real kind of music-y person that would know all these obscure artists. Just whoever's in the radio. I wasn't like a music snob or you can't be listening to songs on the radio and stay at them. Like I actually enjoy the songs on the radio. But I would have heard a lot of like traditional Dubliners, Lou Kelly growing up. My mum would be playing that the whole time. So I would have heard a lot of that, and I still love that kind of music now. And then at that time, then I think I really liked Mumford and Sons. I can't think really of like any bands that I was like obsessed with. I liked literally everything, where from like AC/DC to Damien Rice. Do you know what I mean? And I get into certain music for a few weeks, and I think that's it. I love that. I'm gonna love that forever, and then I just lose interest, and I start listening to something else. Yeah,
because we grew up on 80s music, because my dad used to be a DJ, and then he set up a radio station with my uncle in the Mater Hospital. But he used to have just records full of vinyl stuff. It was all from the 80s, so we kind of grew up in a household full of like Jackson 5 and stuff like that, and that stuff still kind of resonates even to this day.
Oh, it took me it was only a couple of years ago when I started really listening to like the 80s and 70s music, and it's fucking class. It's actually savage. I just never came across it because, like I said, your parents played it to you. My parents didn't play it to me, so you wouldn't really come across it.
I know after when the scandal went, obviously when Michael Jackson broke, it's like, actually I shouldn't really be listening to this at all.
Look, it's just his music, I suppose.
But and that and George Michael and Elton John, stuff like that, but he just that was his thing. But we'll move on. And so when did you actually start to write your own music?
I think as soon as I started playing the piano in round TY, I think I started first trying to like make up songs on the piano, and then I didn't actually think about ever singing up until I started learning how to play songs I could sing along to on the piano, and then started singing, and then I copped I could hold a note, I suppose. I know I'm not the best singer ever, but you can, but I can sing all right. I get away with it.
And when you were initially writing your own music on the piano, what type of kind of tone were you going for? Like a soft type approach to, or what type of melody were you choosing, or was it just bits of anything, or were you kind of into
I'd say it was pretty much bits. Like I wasn't really listening to anything in particular at the time. I suppose. Over the years, there's a pianist from Italy called Ludovico Einaudi. I think it's called like, is it New Age piano, where it sounds kind of like classical, but it's not as I describe it as not being as boring as listening to Mozart, but it still sounds classical.
Okay.
So to me, that type of music is I love that, and I kind of wrote a few little piano pieces, kind of probably basing it off that kind of sound. But I can't generally remember now, like when I started writing songs with lyrics, what they were like.
Did you write them down? No.
No, I don't think I just didn't write that many at the start. I don't think, and they're only half songs, and I wasn't really taking it seriously, so I just never thought about it, to be honest.
But did you find it easy?
Yeah, I suppose I found it easy, but then at the same time, I probably thought most of the songs were shite. So I suppose it's easy to write a shite song. I don't remember writing a song like, say, in secondary school. Thinking, oh, that's class. I'm gonna play that for the lads. Like that was never gonna happen. Yeah. But
and did you have but you did have good support?
Yeah. And to be fair, I always played my songs to my mother, and she'd tell me if it was any use or not. And
she's direct.
She's
very direct. There.
Very direct. Yeah, she said that's good or that's not good, and I'd be like, fair enough.
I won't do that again.
Yeah. And then my little brother, he'd be mad into music, and I'd always be looking for his approval. So whenever he said, that sounds okay, I'd be like, yes, that's brilliant.
And does the brother, he's naturally gets music better?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, like he has a better ear for it, and he's a better musician than me in all the different instruments and stuff.
Really? But he's not. So, he's a lazy bollocks.
He's a bit lazier, So he's not. He's trying to do a bit with it now, I think. But I don't think he'll ever be too pushed about it.
Shame.
Yeah.
You should collab together.
Well, I'll give him a shout out there, Owen Konstantin. I think he started up an Instagram page there about 2 weeks ago to try and start to do his music. So there's a little plug for Owen K Music or Owen Constant Music. I don't know what it's called.
He'll never reach your following anyway.
No. He knows that.
Excellent stuff. So, what was your best song that you made, in your opinion? In your own opinion, that you thought, as much as you probably didn't get, like, not saying the public didn't like it, but you were thinking that actually I feel was better than what you did put out.
Yeah, it's very hard to know. Like the first song I ever put up on social media was a song called "I'm Sick of Pitbull," and it was when I went to college. Say the first year, I just used to be singing in sessions and stuff, but I never sing any of my own songs. And then it was in second year, then I was living with a bunch of lads from my course and stuff, and we're good friends, so I didn't really mind playing them songs. And they were like, just, they're actually alright, like they sound, and you get a good laugh. And most of the songs I used to be writing, I used to be trying to write like funny songs just so you get it wouldn't be serious songs or anything like that. So this song, I'm Sick of Pitbull, was getting a fairly good reaction. And I just said I remember I was playing for Kildare and I got dropped around January, February time. So I was like, well, football's going nowhere, so we'll try this bit of music now. Really? So I bit the bullet, and I remember just absolutely shitting and putting it up, saying this is, I don't know if I can stomach this, like, because the biggest thing is no one actually cares, or like no one thinks about you, but when you're doing it, you think everyone's thinking about you.
That's right.
So put it up, and fairness, like for my first song I got a brilliant reaction, and I remember it was on like 2 days later, it was on Today FM. They asked me to come on and say it with them, and like at the time then I thought I was the biggest celebrity in all of Ireland, like, even though I obviously wasn't. So that song was brilliant for me to go keep doing this, because it meant that obviously I must be alright at it, like if I'm getting a good reaction. So that it's hard, that could be my best one. Probably if I had to say what my best, I'd say it's the one about the Euros in France, I think. Because I remember not wanting to write a song about that, because every single Facebook page had a song about it. And there was a group of us going over to France, and one of the lads said, here, we'll write a song so we can have a song for ourselves going over. And I was like, I really don't want to write a song. Like, it's just going to be corny, and I don't want to do it. Yeah. And I was literally just messing in the kitchen, playing the ukulele, and the chorus came out, and I was like, just that sounds alright, and then just wrote the rest of it. And I'd say that's probably the song I enjoy singing the most. Really? Probably between that and another one. But and that one then was the one that like that guy, no. 15, 16 million views on Facebook. And
Yeah.
after that, I was like, right, I can do something with this now, I think. So
Yeah, and what was it like getting those type of numbers? You're just like, oh my God, this is...
Yeah, because it was funny. Originally, I put it out on my own page, and it was about a week before the tournament. And it done better than any other song I'd done, but it was only maybe got a few 100,000 views. And it was all just my own friends sharing it, but no big page before that. Like, the likes of Joe.e or them would share your video, and because they'd have millions of followers, and that's how you get viral. But every single Facebook page had their own song, so they weren't sharing anyone else's songs, because like whether it was FM 104, Today FM, all these pages. So it didn't really go that big. And then I was over in France, and I came across Pundit Arena through pure fluke. I didn't know who they were. We were drinking. Some lads said, sing a song. They sang a song. I sang my song. They were like, that's a good song. I know a lad who's working for his Facebook page. Want to sing it to them? And I was like, sure, grand. I was locked. I didn't know what was going on. So I was like, yeah, go on, we'll do that. And then, so it was pure absolute chance. And then found them on the street in Bordeaux and recorded that. And I remember my phone wasn't even working because it was abroad and the internet was slow and stuff. And I got a text about 3 hours later saying, you know, that song you put up, like, it has about 3 or 4 million hits online. And again, no,
still drunk.
I was still drunk, so I still didn't know what was going on.
But you were in the right place at the right time.
It was, that one, it was pure and utter chance that we were sitting.
But you took it though.
Oh yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I could have said no, I'm not arse doing that. So I'm delighted I did that in the end, and that grew anyway. My social media following and stuff, because I had randomers from all around Europe following me because they came across this song, and then.
And did you ever get messages now just saying, looking for people for you to write music for them, or is it more kind of when's your next song you're putting out?
I still get I get a lot of requests, just random stuff, real random things, like
dark stuff, like
no, not dark. But like, just companies I've never heard of want to jingle, so and they asked me to do that. But like, the best, like, say I wrote a song, ended up writing a song about 2 or 3 years later after that for Dell EMC computers. This guy got on, sent an email, said we'd write a song, and I was like, they're absolutely loaded. Of course I can write a song. I can charities through the roof.
Hit him.
So my manager at the time, he sorted out some deal, and then they flew me over to Vegas. They were having some convention, and I done a song for them. So that's like the highest end of the scale. But like, I've done a song for Miss World, the Grand National, but then like smaller things like some recently done one for a raffle company on Facebook called Or Kings Competition. I don't know. They're doing quite. I hadn't heard them before.
No,
and because your man sent me a message saying, would you do an Or Kings song? And I didn't know what an Or Kings was, and I was like, oh yeah, of course I'll do that. No problem.
Yeah, I came across them a few weeks back, and the odds of winning are a lot better than the actual lot.
Yeah, it's like they raffle off like 120 grand, and I don't know, they limit it to a certain amount of people,
tickets and stuff.
So just now I've started recently doing songs for people for weddings and that. Couples getting married. I get requests to go sing at a wedding, but because of football and that, I can never commit to say I'll be free that day because you might have a fucking match or something, and they can't pull out. So I said I can't be at the wedding, but I'll write you a song about yourselves if you want.
Nice.
And people seem to really go for it.
Bit?
Yeah, I do enjoy, like, sometimes you feel like
you're love song. Braveheart.
For the business ones, sometimes you feel like you're selling your soul. I finished one today about for a hand sanitizer company, and you're like thinking, why am I doing this? Like, this is like the lowest of the low, but look, it pays, I suppose. And I always, no matter what, I'll always enjoy other people's reaction now to the song I do, like, and especially like when people reply after the song I do for the wedding and they seem ecstatic with it. And
you better not be responsible for that Energy song on the radio.
Which one's that?
I'm not going to sing it, but it's just this Energy, and
it sounds familiar now, but that's the type of stuff I'd be looking to get into now, right?
It's like my bleeding ear.
Just stuck in your ear, yeah.
That's excellent. So what we'll do is we're going to play one of your songs from your earlier days. And so here it is, guys. Have a listen.
Started over in Georgia, pulled it out the bag, McGeady off the left, and that's where it began. 7 against Gibraltar, and the Germans next in store. And that's when John O'Shea became a god forevermore. Slipped up against the Scots, the lads kept ahead. With Germany coming over to put our hopes to bed. Well, no one gave us a chance, they said that we'd be bet. Till Randolph knocked it up and Shamrock stuck it in the net. Singing, stand up for the boys in green. Ole, ole, and a chance to dream. We're heading to the Euros, we're taking over France. We might get hammered, but we'll take the feckin' chance. Singing, shoes off for the boys in green. There's one thing I know, is that there's gonna be scenes. So we're heading to the Euros, we're taking over France. We might get hammered, but we'll take the feckin' chance. We used to dream of teams like Gary Breen's, but now we've Johnny Walters and we still got Robbie Keane. And we've got Glenn Whelan to break lads up. His touch might be poor, but we don't give up. And we've got Robbie Brady to ping it from the left, Coleman on the right to put it on Shane Long's chest, McLean to pick up yellows, no Shaley in the back, and Wes in the middle to set up the attack. Singing, stand up for the boys in green. Ole, ole, and a chance to dream. We're heading to the Euros, we're taking over France. We might get hammered, but we'll take the feckin' chance. Singing, shoes off for the boys in green. There's one thing I know, is that there's gonna be scenes. So we're heading to the Euros, we're taking over France. We might get hammered, but we'll take the feckin' chance. The hype is starting to build, and you can feel a sense of hope. And Aim and John and Liam are preparing all their notes. And Bill will be watching over them to keep the lads in check as they give out about long balls and not keeping it on the deck. Well, bags are being packed, and flags are being made, and every day more and more will join the Green Brigade. And thousands will head over on planes, boats and cars to pack out all the stadiums and clean out all the bars. Singing, stand up for the boys in green. Ole, ole, and a chance to dream. We're heading to the Euros, we're taking over France. We might get hammered, but we'll take the feckin' chance. Singing, shoes off for the boys in green. There's one thing I know, is that there's gonna be scenes. So we're heading to the Euros, we're taking over France. We might get hammered, but we'll take the feckin' chance. Singing, stand up for the boys in green. Ole, ole, and a chance to dream. We're heading to the Euros, we're taking over France. We might get hammered, but we'll take the feckin' chance. Singing, shoes off for the boys in green. There's one thing I know, is that there's gonna be scenes. So we're heading to the Euros, we're taking over France. We might get hammered, but we'll take the feckin' chance. So,
guys, hope you enjoyed that song. So yeah, Mick, sorry, go back to songs, the requests. You just said off air anyway that you were a reflection of a true artist is someone who cares about what they put out, right? And you just said that, just going there, that if it comes to the public, you will not put out something that you're not happy with.
Yeah.
So what gets you to the stage of where you're happy with it?
It's simply, if I listen to it back and I say I'm happy with, like, yeah, I think that's good. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just things you could be stuck for, like trying to write a song about something specific, and I just can't get anything that I think is good. I can get something down, but it's not something that I think is that great. And so in that case, I'll turn down an offer because, like, you're just going to look bad in front. And I know I said it before, no one really cares no one's thinking about you as much as you think people are thinking about you. But when you're selling a product or a service and it's in the public eye, you want it to be good. And if it's not good, people are going to come near you again. So,
do you ever your own stuff that you have written down, you're thinking, you just put it down and walk away, and just it's there for a couple of months, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to go back and try and finish this? Or is it a case that I'm not going to get anything out of it? I'm not. It's not in my ability to get that out because it's just I can't finish it off.
Yeah. With my own stuff, it is very different. Like I'd say, I've hundreds of songs that either no one has heard or very few people have heard, and I suppose maybe because I was recently I've been kind of more business orientated than trying to make it as a musician. I gave it a bit of a half go, and I just realized how it's so hard to try and achieve or do well for yourself being your average musician. You need to be at that like 1 or 2% to be kind of making any bit of money. Otherwise you're working and you're kind of getting nowhere. Whereas I found a niche market where I can do quite well, and I can mix that in with all the other things I have going in my life. So with my own personal songs, I won't put them up at all, to be honest. I just keep them for myself, and I do it for my own enjoyment. And maybe sometime in the future will come where I want to release them or I want to put them up. But I don't feel the need for people to hear my own songs, apart from my own friends or my own family, that kind of way.
And that's very interesting. And that's grand. So just going back then, so when you actually, like you said, when you write your own music, it's more or less for you first, and then public second.
Pretty much, yeah. And like I said, I don't actually, I can't remember, like, I haven't sat down and finished off a normal song, let's say, that I haven't been asked to write in a long time now. I don't know whether just I've had very little inspiration or just haven't been bothered or haven't got around to it. I'm busy enough writing specific songs for people and for businesses that I just haven't got around to that. But it's far more difficult to put out it's easy to put out a song about a business or a product because you're not under really much scrutiny at all. When you do write a song about something normal, let's say, then people listen to the lyrics and it's probably a bit more personal, and that's definitely not easy. Like, I know people make it out to be easy sometimes, but it's not easy because I reckon that if it's shite, then it looks really shite. Whereas if a song about, let's say I was telling you before about like Tato is shite, they were like, that's just about Tato, so I won't take that too seriously. Yeah, but
you don't think that you think the road is long and hard to be you caught on because of events and that's how you wrote songs. Like that. But if someone was to write their own personal stuff, it's a long road.
Yeah,
because people have to care about your own story.
That's true. It's just very hard to make. You need to be realistically, you need to be signed to a label, or else you're gonna have to pay so much money for marketing. You're gonna have to get onto radio stations, have contacts, and kind of probably you're not really meant to, but you kind of pay them off to go play your song. You pay Spotify to get on their playlists. All this costs so much money. If you're not backed by a label, you've very little way of getting to do this. Then if you are signed by a label, the music you put out has to do extremely well, otherwise you won't make any money, because any money you make has to pay for everything that they do in the first place, and even at that you're only keeping like 5 or 10% of the profits at the end. So it's like I said, it's the top 1, 2, 3%. It's the people you see selling out the 3 arenas, they're making money, I'm sure. But people who are playing in Whelan's, people who are even like, I know you get paid well for Vicar Street and that, but if that's all they're doing, like they're doing all right for themselves, but it's not a high life. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's not enough.
There's quite a bit of struggle in that as well. And even at the moment, the way things are, like the entertainment business is like at its knees because there's no performer going on at all. If this is I don't know how much support they're getting off the government, but it doesn't sound like they're getting that much support.
That's very
and
little,
they're crying out for some sort of help, because if everyone that performed was actually minted, then it wouldn't be a problem to go 6 months without getting paid. This is like their normal wage.
Yeah, well, it's like that. Like, even now, they're just. I remember even before all the COVID or whatever broke, the news was saying that people were just looking at getting permits removed from buskers. Some of the best people who can play music are buskers. Yeah, and some of the stuff they produce is fantastic. I remember walking down Grafton Street and a fella had a guitar sideways on his knees, and he was just playing it over the guitar, and I was like, holy crap. And he was phenomenal. But sure, everyone's walking by not even appreciating what they're seeing here. And to get to that level, it was like watching, like, I'm a huge fan of like John Butler Trio.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and when he played the song Ocean, it was like watching that. You know, and
but you see that even in pubs, you'll see a lad even with a loop pedal, and he'd be unbelievable, literally incredible. And you're like, this man's making pittance, and he's not ever going to make it. It's luck, and it's right time, right place, and I don't know what else gets you in there, but if you don't have that bit of luck, like, I know Dermot Kennedy's doing unbelievably well. Now his story is like probably a very good story, because he seems like he grafted for years and years and somehow got a break. But I don't think he's that much better now than he was, let's say, 2 years ago when he was busking on Grafton Street. He's pretty much the same talented person, But now, if he was on Grafton Street, there'd be 1,000 people standing there listening to him. 2 years ago, everyone just wouldn't have walked past.
Walking by, yeah.
So it's a strange
You never
industry,
did it.
I suppose. Yeah,
Did you?
Yeah, I had no summer job for 2 summers. When I said no, I just wasn't there school again. But so,
We're not working in Spa.
yeah, I think I done a bit of summer camp work, but no, I done for 2 summers. I bussed on Grafton Street and just off Grafton Street. It was brilliant to
That's exposure to the public.
yeah, to like come up with the balls to go sing in front of people. That was huge for that. Like,
how many songs did you bring with you?
Oh jeez, at the start when I started off, I probably would have started off with 10 or 15, and then by the end of it, I had about 50 odd songs.
Really?
But the same songs used to get you to say, like, used to be songs that be bringing you in money. And I remember there was this woman used to sell scarves and hats and stuff down past me, and I used to feel sorry for her because I'd be looking at her saying, "I go and sing this song again," and she'd say, "Oh, for fuck's sake, I've heard this about 10 times." I'm like, I know, and I'd be singing a song, hating it and hating life, but that song I know will bring people in and they'll throw me a few euro that kind of way.
Did you make much out of it?
You'd have some days,
but you wouldn't do how many hours?
You could max 2 hours. Your voice would be fecked after that. Like, and
I
used to not have like a microphone. I just be singing it myself. Like, and it was good to like build up your voice and project it in that kind of way. But I'd say I kind of damaged it a bit over the years because it was probably doing too much shouting and roaring. But like, you do about 2 hours, and some days you could do 2 hours and you could come away with €10, and you'd be like, why am I doing this? This is the biggest. That's the bus fare. You can't know you don't have money to go to McDonald's after. And then other days you could be there for a half an hour and you could make €80.
Really?
So, and it's I think it's total fluke as well. It depends on who's walking past at the time. Some people, no matter, you could be the best musician of all time, will give you nothing, and some people will give. You could be the worst musician of all time and they'll throw you a few euro anyway.
To stop.
To stop her. Kids and old people are great for giving money. And parents giving the money to the 5 or 6 year olds, like, go on, give that to the busker there, and they'd be happy out. And they'd be just playing along, oh, thanks. So, but no, it was good. It was good to get used to performing and just to kind of come, I don't know what's the phrase is, just to get brave, I suppose.
Did you do it again? Just the one-off kind of thing.
I do it now just for my own enjoyment, and I remember at the start I kind of was doing that, and at the start it was just the experience of it, and then after that I was kind of trying to I want to make money kind of off this every time I went in, and then the days you weren't making money you were just hating it because this is, why am I doing this to myself? And then towards the end, it was just, I was going into my own little world and I was just singing my songs, and then whoever wanted to listen could listen, everyone didn't want to listen.
Well, so you started playing your own music then?
Well, I know, yeah, but I mix in a bit of both, it was so much more enjoyable not caring about if I'm making money or not. And then my brother would come in with me like the odd time and we'd have Savage Crack just playing songs together. And it was much more enjoyable then than like forcing yourself to sing songs you didn't want to sing, because the better chance of that giving you money in that kind of way, like, so.
Yeah, and when you were was there any, like, does a busking territory even exist? It's like I'm here for some, you have to go down there.
Yeah,
was that a thing?
It was towards the end of it. At the start when I started busking, it wasn't as much, but some people had their places and you couldn't, if you wanted, you could, if they weren't there, you're allowed to go there. But if you were on their time schedule, let's say, whatever, they're there from 5 to 7, they'd be like, get out of here, this is my spot. And then you'd have bigger bands. I remember, now this isn't giving them out, giving out about them, but I remember the Riptide Movement used to do a lot of busking on Grafton Street, and myself and my brother were busking, and they paid us €50 just to leave, so they could start busking there.
Really?
Yeah. So obviously they were planning. Now they used to sell CDs, and they were a big thing, and they were probably more trying to get their name out there. Like they weren't like some small busking, so it was worth them paying us off, and we were happy out with our €50, and off we went home. Like, we could have been there for another 4 hours, we might not have made €50. Yeah. But it is. It's the same people there, kind of, I suppose. So they probably it's probably a bit cliquey in that sense, and it's probably hard to. If I went there now, I wouldn't feel 100% comfortable like am I in someone else's spot, or
just waiting for them to turn up, like. And so when you're not writing music, what keeps you occupied then?
Well,
do you walk away from music every now and again, like, okay,
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't say I'm always in music. I'll always listen to music. I love listening to music. But I'll never like, it's not like I go a day, I could go weeks without trying to write a song or playing an instrument or something like that kind of way. It just kind of comes and goes. But apart from that, like I said, sport is huge. I'm obsessed with sport. Play Gaelic football, and that's as big. That's probably bigger than music, maybe.
At the moment, yeah.
At the moment, yeah. For the time I give it. Teaching is what my normal job is, I suppose. So and I do love teaching. I love working with kids, and I get great enjoyment out of that. And then I love to travel too. So between those three things, that's probably what my three other passions are, I suppose.
Yeah, are the kids taking training and more seriously now, or is there a bit of a more of a put their head in the phone type thing as you see as they're coming through?
In PE, it's hard to know. I suppose it there's no it varies from child to child. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know what it was like 20 years ago, but you do get quite a lot of inactive kids now because
inactive
because and it's not even, they might not even be big, or they don't eat unhealthily, but like you'd ask them like what do you play any sports for any teams? Like, no. So like when you go home, what do you do? Like, to go for a walk and run? No, just do nothing. So just very inactive, and like I said, on their phone or playing Call of Duty or whatever. Like,
that put more onus on like yourself to try and teach them more, try and encourage them to keep going. And
there's only so much, because as a teacher, if in PE you have them twice a week for maybe an hour or 2 hours, I think it's on parents, to be honest. It's the parents who see them every single day. We can educate them. I can tell them why you should be healthy, what you can do, but at the end of the day, 2 hours a week in PE isn't enough to get healthy. It's be doing much more at home, and it's whoever's at home enforcing that or trying to encourage that or getting them to join teams. And even the social aspects of playing for teams is huge too. Like, that should be encouraged. But it's not totally bad either. Like, do you know what I mean? There's loads of really great healthy kids, and people actually eat much healthier now. I notice in school, all like especially older 5th year, 6th year, 8, 7, 8 year olds, they're all eating their salads and stuff.
And avocados
yeah, like whereas before it was going to be chicken roll and
wedges,
kind of Coke and wedges. Yeah,
Who has a euro?
And all like they're all mad to go to the gym and stuff. And gym is a big culture now, like for kids, for older kids. Like, so it's definitely technology has made people more inactive, but people are a bit more educated too, I suppose. Like, so maybe it evens itself out. Hopefully, yeah.
And you is the next fashion.
Yeah.
Training hard.
Well, now we'll have to, don't know what story is for the next 2 weeks because of lockdown and all this again. Like, so.
But prior to lockdown, we was playing. Was it non-contact?
No, it was contact. We're back playing matches and all sort of like with our championship and stuff. So that was back being pretty much, well, not normal. There was a few things that were a bit different from before, but it was as normal as you can get. So we were thinking that'd be it for the rest of the summer, rest of the year, but obviously now we don't know what the story is because we're in the middle of championship and things have been paused. So wait and see.
How many games did you get in before the?
We had 3 games. Well, we had 2 league games and one championship game. So there's another couple of championship games left to play, but hopefully we can get back to it in 2 weeks. But it's hard to know.
Any injuries?
There was been a few injuries. Yeah, I think that's common for every team now because people were not doing a whole lot, I suppose, over lockdown. And then you go back flat out to playing.
I'm just trying to see the next fella that marks you just fucking go for the left knee.
No, I'm flying fit.
And traveling.
Yeah.
You disappeared for a while.
I went off traveling a good bit now in October, last October. So I do love, like, with teaching, it's brilliant because you have 3 months off in the summer where you're getting paid, which is outrageous. So it's stupid not to go traveling.
Don't let the union hear that.
Yeah, it's not someone
keep it going.
Someone's gonna cop on one of these days. How easy teachers have it. And then. So
where'd you go first?
I started off in. I had to wait until championship was over, so we got knocked out in semi final. And I went off about a week later. Same time.
Sulking.
Sulking. Yeah. I started off in Japan as the Rugby World Cup was on there, so I said, sure, why not? And then 2 weeks later, a friend of mine joined me because he had championship as well. He lost the final. Sulking as well. Yeah. So we went I just in around Southeast Asia. Went to Australia over Christmas with friends and family there, so I said we spend a bit of time with them. and then back into Southeast Asia. Then the coronavirus kind of started picking up, and my mate went home, and I kind of had enough of noodles and rice and seeing the same fucking temples and everything, because it's the same. Once you see one or two countries in Southeast Asia, it's all kind of similar. So I flew across at the same time as that Tyson Fury fight was on, so that kind of worked out well. Flew to Vegas to see that, and then I hadn't been to Central America, so I flew down to Central America, and then planned to travel to there for a few months, and then that kind of got paused, I suppose, then a few weeks into it.
But your plan, have you been given any time? So you've all been told end of August, kids are back.
Yeah, so
but they don't even know for how long.
No,
first
but
day of school
even at that, they don't. No one. There's been nothing said to us really. I don't think. And schools don't want to plan.
Do you mind going back? Not for I know obviously you want to go back and teach, but like the whole
safety aspect of it, or
for yourself.
Yeah.
Does that play in your mind, or?
No, I suppose not really. It's hard to like. If you're told it's safe, I'm gonna believe it's safe, I suppose. And if I'm told it's not safe, then I'll believe it's not safe. So if we go back and it's like normal and the kids are in front of us, then I'm not gonna mind that. And I would one of the biggest things is that you miss seeing the kids. You know what I mean? Like the best thing about being a teacher is the crack you have with the kids and the students. So I'm looking forward to seeing them, and I hope it's normal again. I know, speaking for all the teachers I know, they're mad to get back into school. They just want to be back in that routine. Like, sure, they've been off since March now when they were teaching at home, and it's been a long stint since they've been back in school.
Yeah, like you have to give. I know I would be the first to say teachers have it real handy, right? But it's only more for the time off aspect, more so than the actual work ethic that goes in, the work involved in teaching 30 kids. Like, but it comes to a stage where it's like, you gotta get back. Like, you must be going.
Oh, they're going mad.
Yeah, you have to go back. I have to go back because your own self.
I was even just talking to people, the staff room, even like seeing other teachers and chatting away, like
picking things up off each other and watch out for him. He's not in the best.
Just socially, is everything. No, I think they're all mad to go. And like, I know I do say it's different for me when I'm a PE teacher, so I don't really have much corrections or any homework to be doing. Other teachers, to be fair, like there's a lot of work involved. If you're an English teacher, or let's say with the bit of Irish like we do be teaching, like the corrections do take a lot of time, and there's a lot of work outside the school. So I think
would you clock up many hours now? Or would a teacher clock up many hours if some people always say give out and say, it's 9 to 4 and you're home by half. But is there much, not say overtime, but is there much?
There's a hell of a lot.
Is there?
No teacher goes home at 4 really.
Really? They're all back by 6.
You'd be working for the next day until maybe 5. But then on top of that, like, but 5 doesn't sound bad, I suppose. But like then there's a lot of hours.
But you're not paid for that.
No, you're not paid for that. No.
Okay.
And like you're not paid for you might have an hour off in the day between 11 and 12, and instead of being off for that hour, you're actually doing corrections or you're preparing for your next class.
Or you're in the hall supervising.
Supervising. You don't get paid for your supervision. You have to do that. And then just like taking teams, that takes a lot of time too. Like say if I take let's say last year I was teaching, I was taking the senior football team, and we would train twice a week, let's say. So school finishes at 4:00, so training can't start till about 4:30. Training goes on from 4:30 to 4:45. Then I have to collect all the gear, bring it back to the school. By the time I'm driving home, it's 6:15. So I've been in school since 9:00 and it's 6:15. So that's probably that's longer than 9 to 5, I suppose, and longer than some people are doing in offices in Dublin. Like, so now that's not every day, but that's involved, you know what I mean? And like I said, you're not doing that to get paid, you know what I mean? You're doing that for the kids. Yeah. And for your own enjoyment too, but if no one signs up for it, the kids don't have a football team, so you have to.
Someone has to step up.
Yeah.
Very good. And so we'll play the actually no, before we do that, tell me more about the most famous song you're famous for, and that's the Conor McGregor song. Why did you decide to go and do that? Or not why that is a bad thing, but what brought you to say I'm gonna go? What was the mindset, or what was the steps involved to put that one together?
I was always I'd be quite a big UFC fan. Well, like not massive, but like if there was a big fight, I'd be always watching it. McGregor was huge at the time, and he was kind of building up a really good reputation, and that was really getting exciting. I always knew I was going to write a song about him, but it's just kind of waiting until the best opportunity, like his biggest fight, let's say, to go and write it. And there was always this talk of him and Mayweather, and I knew if they ever fought, now whatever believed was going to happen, because it's still ridiculous that a UFCer was going to fight a boxer.
Yeah.
But it did happen. When money's involved, anything can happen, I suppose.
Yeah.
So when that came about, I was like, right, I'm writing a song for this 100%. I remember I was in a hostel in Colombia when I got announced, and I remember sitting down with two mates, and I was like, this is actually happening. So I was like, right, I'm gonna do this. So when I got home, I remember I tried to write a song, write the song first, and I wrote a bit of a chorus and stuff, and like I was like, it's all right, but it wasn't great, and I was like, it was frustrating. You're like, because you're like, I know people will like this, and anyone that likes McGregor will like anything I'll do to McGregor because they'll be obsessed, like, but it wasn't like. It's hard to describe, but you get a feeling where you're like, that's it.
I'm on the right track.
Yeah. So I remember sending that to a few friends, and they were like, oh yeah, that's all right or whatever. But it wasn't the reaction I was kind of looking for, and I knew myself it wasn't the best. So I think I scratched it all together and then started again. And when I go write a song, it's literally just me. I'll just play on the ukulele random chords for a long time and just be saying random stuff over and over until something slips out of my mouth that sounds vaguely, that could be good. Then I get my voice recorder or record that, so I have it, and then I might build in it. And I remember it was like, I don't know, was it 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and I was just messing. I'm sitting on the couch playing the ukulele, and the chorus all came out in one. There's only one Conor McGregor doesn't fight a bear, and he's gonna knock out Floyd Mayweather. And I was like, that's good. I was like, and it's pure, like, I didn't sit down and write it. Like, it's literally it just kind of comes out. I remember actually going into my mom and I was like, Mom, are you awake? And she was like, what? It's like, I think I wrote this class song. And like most of my songs, they also start with a chorus, and then I write the whole song around once I have a chorus, and I was like, that's good.
That's your methodology.
So I start with a chorus, and then the rest of it, I'd say I wrote it in the space of a few hours, like over a day or two, because it's just his story. So again, I find it easier when I'm writing about something specific. So I was just writing about how he started off, his fights, all his quotes, and there's no like mad magic process to putting the lyrics together. There's a great website called Rhyme Zone. So if you say, for example, I'm trying to think of a lyric. But any lyric in that. If I think of a good lyric, let's say, or something I want to put in the song. So, I can't think of the lyrics of the song now. But let's say any lyric to the song, and I want to get that in. Then you go into Rhyme Zone, you put that song word in, and then you get 100 different words that rhyme with that word.
Really?
And then I'll write a sentence that leads up into that word that fits in with the sentence thing next to it. Now, hopefully that doesn't sound like I'm cheating writing a song, it's an unbelievable website, and it just makes things easier. So, especially when you're not, like, when you know exactly what you want to write, I just need to fit the words around it in a clever way.
So I was going to say, though, go back to what you're saying, that you're, like, I'm not saying because you're in the kitchen, but it's like you're in the kitchen and you're messing with the ukulele. For like a 3-minute song, it could be hours behind that.
True. So, but like, it could be hours of you not even knowing you're writing the song. I could be just messing. So I'm not specifically spending hours trying to come up with a McGregor song.
Oh, it's just on purpose. It's just
I'm just flicking the ukulele and blabbering shite, and something comes out, and that could be all right. And then once I have the chorus, then I'm specifically writing the rest of the song.
Yeah, the frame.
The frame of the song, and I can only do that, like, I do that with a piece of paper and a pen or my laptop, and I type it out. I can't do that like just making up on the spot. I can make a chorus up on the spot, and usually I think when you do that naturally, they come across kind of catchy because you're singing so much in your head over and over again. When something sounds good, it sticks. Whereas the rest of the song doesn't have to be kind of catchy. It's just all lyrical based, and you kind of have to sit down and kind of, you write that like a letter, or like you write that like a poem, let's say, whatever. So
when you're writing the chorus and you're saying it become like, it's a lot more quicker for you, because it's quicker, do you feel that it's there's less effort in it because you become, I can write it easy, but you're not kind of like, that was too easy?
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of do. I suppose you're right, like, because the chorus just falls out.
Yeah.
It's not something I go and try and do, like, it literally just falls out.
Because some people struggle and like, fuck.
Yeah, and so like in that case, it's all luck. It's literally, I know it's something that I'm just lucky enough to have. That if I do this enough, something catchy comes out, and that's pure luck. The rest of it now, I wouldn't say is luck, because I think there's a skill to writing all the verses and trying to fit stuff in.
Yeah, but it all fits in, and there's nothing lazy about any of your songs. Like when you're going through the verses, it's all patched in sync, and it works at the time, and you're not.
That's one thing I don't like about, like, certain songs just have a load of ohs in it.
Mumble rap and stuff.
I for every song I write, even if it's for companies for business, I don't like to waste the line. So and it's not that with, like, if you're getting paid to do this, do you know what I mean? Spend an extra half an hour, an hour to find a line that makes sense for the song, and don't just put in some shite that'll just fill up that 5 or 10 seconds that you need to be filled, I suppose.
And that happens a lot. That happens.
I say it does. I suppose, like, if you listen to songs on the radio, now obviously they're catchy, I suppose, but I just think, with the songs I write, I wouldn't get away with it, like, and I think I prefer.
You wouldn't
to
let
write.
yourself get away.
I probably wouldn't let myself get away with it.
Okay, we'll have a listen to the Conor McGregor song now, lads, and here it is.
A kid from Dublin with more than a dream. He knew one day he'd be the king of the UFC. Oh, with a group of fighting Irish not to be pushed over. Not here to take part, they were here to take over. And from the start, John Kavanagh by his side. Whoever thought they'd be known worldwide after 60 G's, baby, and a contract to sign, leaving his old life and the social welfare behind. And after 2 years came the featherweight champion of the world, and Conor said he'd make him look like a little girl. It only took 10 seconds to show his talk wasn't cheap, as he connected with the left and put Aldo to sleep. There's only one Conor McGregor, and there's the fighter there, and he's gonna knock out Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd, watch out, 'cause the Irish are coming. You can talk all you want, but you'll do nothing. Only one Conor McGregor, and there's the fighter bear, and he's gonna knock out Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd, watch out, 'cause the Irish are coming. You can talk all you want, but you'll do nothing. The lightweight belt was next in store to do what no other fighter had ever done before. Became the first same-time double champ in history, and took the chance to apologise to absolutely nobody. He came from working on a building site to get $1 million paychecks from Dana White. And now his money, his cars and his clothes he flaunts, 'cause the double champ does what the he wants. And Mayweather, you're old and you're small, and the truth is that you'll do feck all, 'cause precision beats power and timing beats speed. Why have you got a skill back Floyd you can't even read? There's only one Conor McGregor, and there's the fighter bear, and he's gonna knock out Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd, watch out, 'cause the Irish are coming. You can talk all you want, but you'll do nothing. Only one Conor McGregor, and there's the fighter bear, and he's gonna knock out Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd, watch out, 'cause the Irish are coming. You can talk all you want, but you'll do nothing. Oh, well, he dresses to kill, boys Lamborghinis at will, can get inside your head like he was Dr. Phil. And if you call him out, have a good reason why, or he'll turn around and say, who the is that guy? And on the 26th of August, we're taking over Vegas, the Irish invasion, you can't mistake us. Singing songs day and night till our voices are sore, because when one of us goes, we all go to war. There's only one Conor McGregor, and there's the fighter bear, and he's gonna knock out Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd, watch out, 'cause the Irish are coming. You can talk all you want, but you'll do nothing. Only one Conor McGregor, and there's the fighter bear, and he's gonna knock out Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd, watch out, 'cause the Irish are coming. You can talk all you want, but you'll do nothing. You'll do nothing.
And that was the Conor McGregor song. Mick, tell me about your latest one, which was Tyson Fury.
Yeah. So I wrote that. I think actually I nearly had that written a year and a half before I put it out. Because he fought Wilder in December of
17.
Was it 7?
No, Klitschko
18, I think.
Oh, it was 18.
Yeah, it was 18. So I was thinking of bringing out a song for bringing out for that. So I had the chorus written and a few other bits. And then I just remember in the lead up to it, then I actually ended up getting sick. And I ended up being in hospital for 2 weeks. So, and that was like leading up to the fight. I remember I watched the fight in hospital. So, there was no point putting the song out at that stage. I couldn't enjoy it. So then after, I was hoping I was hoping that whatever had happened, there'd be a follow-up fight, and it was perfect. And when they drew, so I was like, right, there's definitely a fight after this. So then it got rescheduled for whatever the following January. Was it January, February? February, sorry. And I had written a song. I wrote a song previously for Mick Konstantin, and he's a fighter for...
that was a brilliant song.
Yeah, he's fighting for MTK. They're the same management company that work with Tyson. So I had a contact from that. Sent him the song saying, look, I have this song. I remember actually I recorded in this place in Bali. And I actually had to rent a room for the night just to get a quiet place because we were staying in the hostel, and I couldn't be like recording it in the hostel with a lot of randomers making noise in the background. So actually we had accommodation, but I just had to rent this place out just so I can go there during the day, record a song in this shitty looking room, and record a song, sent it to your man. Your man said, brilliant, I'll pass it on to whoever. So he passed on to a few more people. Heard nothing for about a week or two, and I was like, oh, they mustn't be doing anything with it. So and then he finally got back onto me saying, sent me a voice message saying, yeah, we got through to Tyson. Tyson loves it. We'd like you to record or whatever, and we'll try and do something together and get you to the fight. So I was in the Philippines, and I had to fly from an island to Manila because that's the only place where they have music studios there. Recorded the song in the music studio, sent it over. They did, in fairness, they did a class music video to go with the song. Like, it was savage. Yeah. And then I uploaded it, and like I said, the coronavirus is kind of getting bad. So I was happy to get out of Philippines, to get out of Asia. Flew to Vegas, and they got me tickets for the fight. That was, in fairness, the fight was actually it was a better fight than the McGregor Mayweather. It was a bit more exciting. The Mayweather McGregor, there wasn't too much happening in the early rounds, and you kind of knew Mayweather was going to win. This one, you didn't know how it was going to go, and sure, Tyson knocked him down 2 or 3 times before he won it in the end. So that was class. The only thing there was talks of meeting him before the fight, but I only got there maybe 2 or 3 days beforehand, and obviously he was fucking busy enough getting the zone. And then after I think he flew home. It was the day or 2 days after, so I didn't get to meet him. But so they're fighting again sometime again this next year. I think there's a trilogy anyway. Yeah, and then it's Joshua after that, I think. So maybe you might do a follow-up tune for the if someone pays me enough, I can add some betting for him about that. But yeah. So at least there is another fight to come, and I think Tyson Fury is absolutely hilarious.
Have you heard a better story than the one of Tyson Fury? No, he's gonna win. Only one Gypsy King. Have you heard a better story than the one of Tyson Fury? No, he's gonna win. Only one Gypsy King. Let's take it back to the start, tearing British boxing apart. The one and only Gypsy King. Never been anyone just like him. This 6'8" heavyweight, destined to become a great. Trains in his own way, even 7 times a day. Who else is just as big and moves just as quick? Who else can beat up Klitschko and sing some Aerosmith? Who else might get knocked down but just won't quit? Who else can make Deontay Wilder their bitch show? Well, have you heard a better story than the one of Tyson Fury? No, he's gonna win. Only one Gypsy King. Well, have you heard a better story than the one of Tyson Fury? No, he's gonna win. Only one Gypsy King. And he's battled the demons in his head, fought them off and put them to bed. Shared a story with the whole world, so others in need might be heard. Came back from 28 stone to make the ring yet again his home. But MTK and his backroom team has gone once more to chase their dream. And next came Wilder, USA's number one. And all night long Fury bet him up for fun. And in the 12th round he got knocked down, eyes rolled to the back of his head. Wilder went dancing, thought he'd won, but Tyson rose from the dead. Oh, well, have you heard a better story than the one of Tyson Fury? No, he's gonna win, only one Gypsy King. Have you heard a better story than the one of Tyson Fury? No, he's gonna win, only one Gypsy King. And on the 22nd of February, the whole world is gonna see Tyson Fury is the better boxer. Deontay Wilder's just a big tosser. And after Fury makes him cry, sings a bit of American Pie, the Gypsy King will go down to be one of the greats in history. Well, have you heard a better story than the one of Tyson Fury? No, he's gonna win, only one Gypsy King. Have you heard a better story than the one of Tyson Fury? No, he's gonna win, only one Gypsy King. Oh.
Did you read his book yet?
No, I didn't read his book. To be honest, I don't really read at all. I managed to read one book over 6 months traveling. That was Andre Agassi's autobiography, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But I'm a slow man to read.
Yeah, and I read a lot. Well, I prefer reading a lot of sports autobiographies, but I read the first 18 pages of it, and then the mental health that he was going through.
Some turnaround.
Back. Yeah, it's quite inspiring. Like when he said he's at the bridge and he heard a voice saying no, and that's just the way it's all started back up again. Yeah.
And it was some, like when you see photos of how big he was
with Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, but he didn't look depressed.
No, he didn't.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
but he looked huge. Yeah. He was absolutely massive. Like, you're like, this guy cannot fight. And I think it was like a year's time after that, like he had his first comeback fight, like, which is scandalous. But yeah, I read a book about a league slip man, Trevor Brennan. I read his autobiography before. Yeah. He was a madman. He was a lunatic. Cannon now, yeah. He was an absolute lunatic.
Yeah. He was a bit of a loose cannon. Yeah. And but was it frustrating that you had to sit on a song for that long?
Yeah, that's it. It's a good question. Not really, because it's kind of just there, but I know I'm going to get to it at some stage. It'd be more frustrating if I didn't know whether he was going to fight ever again or not, and I'd be like, Jesus, did I waste this song? Because it's too late to bring it out now. Like, you can't bring out a song about Tyson Fury against Wilder. There's no other fight. So in that sense, yeah. But no, when you know you're going to be using it at some stage, you don't mind. I know the one I done for the World Cup, the Rugby World Cup.
That was a good song.
Yeah, I had that written in May, and the World Cup was in October. And that one now I got frustrated with because I tried to sell that to a lot of different crowds and no one would bite. And I was like,
really?
This is a way, yeah.
Ladbrokes did though.
Ladbrokes did in the end, yeah. So I approached the IRFU first. I said I'd chance them and see if they wanted like an official song. And they were like, oh yeah, we'll get back onto you. And then that kind of fizzled out. Air, actually, I was with them for a while chatting away about it. And then finally, this guy that had gone to me before about a song, he was kind of like a middleman, and then he got onto a few other people, and then Ladbrokes came back and said they were interested in doing something. So, because at that stage, I wasn't sure whether I'd put the song out at all just by myself, because you can put it out and then you make your royalties off Spotify or whatever else, but you're never guaranteed to do. You don't know how well it's going to do, and unless it gets a lot of plays, let's say on Spotify and YouTube, you're not going to be really seeing much royalties. But if you're guaranteed, if you get a third party involved, let's say Ladbrokes, and they want to pay to be associated with it, and they can push the song too, then it's much more better for me, let's say.
Was it a surprise that people didn't want to jump on that?
Yeah, Up till I suppose it was a bit of a surprise, because up till then, every time I've done something, it's gone well and someone has kind of gone for it and taken it off me. So it probably made me doubt, was it that good, or But I when I wrote it, I thought this is decent. Like, and I actually thought it was a good song. So yeah, but I suppose if you just hold out long enough, you'll find someone in the end. I suppose and that worked out for me in the end.
What was it like? What's it like when you don't mind chasing business as such?
Yeah, it's very different situation when someone approaches you than when you go after them. Obviously, when you go after them, they're kind of holding all the cards in their deck, and when it comes to bargaining, now I hate that side of things, and that's why I used to have a manager who did that for me. And I used to have, one of my friends used to then manage me for a while because I feel bad sometimes when you don't know what to charge, and you have to, if you're like when you come with dealing with corporate, like, you need to be tough and you need to be like, know your worth and strong and stuff like that, because they're big bullies, do you know what I mean? Like, and you have to fight your corner too. So when you go looking after them, obviously it puts you in a weaker position. But when you do get interest from 2 or 3 type of parties, then you can kind of fight them off against each other and in your own benefit. But no, like, if you think you're something that's worth something, then I don't feel bad going after someone, because they just don't know. They don't know what they're missing because they haven't seen it yet. Yeah. And I think even that's something I might try and do in the future. Like, I know I said I wrote one for Dell Computers, and they absolutely love that song. Now, if someone never approached me, they wouldn't have known about the song. They would have never thought about it in the first place. But because someone asked, they heard the song and they loved it. So I'm sure there's lots of companies there that aren't even thinking about having a song, but if you approach them with it and you're like, I can have something like this for you, they're like, oh Jesus, that's brilliant. So it's
we didn't think of it.
Yeah, it's not having your own song is something people don't think of. It's just not a normal thing, but people seem to love it because it's just about themselves, and people love anything about themselves, whether it sounds great or doesn't sound great. They're like, well, that's mine and no one else has that. So it's like it's a service that people don't know they have until they're told you should have it.
Yeah, and is there any song that you're really attached
to? Personally, I Wish I Was Jamaican. That's my favourite song. I'd say, I know I said before Taking On France, but that one personally, and that's because it's the first time I ever played it it's the first time I ever played a song of my own for any of my friends. I think it was over Christmas time, and there used to be this, one of the lads had a shed that we used to drink in because none of us had a house and we're all very young. And this was a bit more independence, drinking in the shed and drinking in someone's living room. Yeah. So it was after a night out, and at this stage I'd played a few songs for the ukulele for lads, but they were just covers, and I'd written this song, I don't know, a few weeks beforehand, and there was about 5 or 6 of us, and we're back in the shed, had a few cans at whatever, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I said, here, actually, I have my own song. And the only reason I was happy to play it was because I was drunk. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the balls. And I went and played it. And they were like, jeez, Mick, that's a decent song. And I was absolutely buzzing about hearing that. And then I sang a few more covers. And then they were like, go on, sing that song again. And I was like, I'll sing it again. I sang it the second time. And one of the lads actually recorded it and like put it up on Facebook. And it was like really, really terrible recording. Like, the quality was awful. But that went up, and then I remember seeing like a few like comments and stuff underneath, and from that, I know then about a year later I put that one about Pitbull, and I posted from my own page. This was kind of different because someone else put it up, but that's the most special song because the first song I ever played for my friends and they liked it as well. So, and I think it's a brilliant song. I actually enjoy listening to that song myself.
So that's the one to go to.
I wish I was Jamaican, so I could run so fast. And I wish I was a baker, I'd make her the finest apple tarts. And I wish I was a spaceman, so the earth I could pass. Well, I guess I'm just a dreamer, and I hope it forever lasts. When I was 6 years old, I started digging in my garden, hoping to be in China the next day. Oh, well, funny enough, it got too tough and wasn't meant to be. But still I thought, wouldn't it be great to travel under the sea. How I'd like to wake up in the Bahamas tomorrow morning and take a stroll on down to the sunny beach and have an exotic drink, and then I think how lucky can I be to do what I want, to be where I like to see all there is to see. Oh, I wish I was Jamaican, so I could run so fast. And I wish I was a baker and make the finest apple tarts. And I wish I was a spaceman, so the earth I could pass. Well, I guess I'm just a dreamer, and I hope it forever lasts. And how I'd like to play football for Barcelona, win the Champions League, and then I'll come home and I'll build a big house, the money that I earn. All my family welcome to stay for as long as they want, as long as they choose to lay their heads in the beds that I build. And then I'll go on and be a master chef in my own restaurant and my own special guest, and I'll always bring the leftovers home with me. And if I have time, I'll start a movie with Tom Hanks, and he'll brag that he knew me to all his fancy friends in fancy clothes. Oh, 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 said I wish I was Jamaican, so I could run so fast. And I wish I was a baker, I'd make her the finest apple tarts. And I wish I was a spaceman, so the earth I could pass. Well, I guess I'm just a dreamer, a dreamer, a dreamer. Oh, I wish I was Jamaican, so I could run so fast. And I wish I was a baker, I'd make her the finest apple tarts. And I wish I was a spaceman, so the earth I could pass. Well, I guess I'm just a dreamer, and I hope it forever lasts. Oh, I wish I was Jamaican, so I could run so fast. And I wish I was a baker, I'd make her the finest apple tarts. And I wish I was a spaceman, so the earth I could pass. Well, I guess I'm just a dreamer, and I hope it forever lasts. It forever lasts.
We'll wrap this up shortly. When you're playing the ukulele, do you have any songs that you play on guitar and piano that you might squeeze into, or do you think that you're the ukulele guy and that's what your niche is, or would you like to?
There was definitely a stage where I wanted to stop because I didn't want to be known as the ukulele guy, or that's the lad who sings the McGregor song.
Yeah, does that get annoying after a while?
Like I said, there was a time where I was sick of that. Now I've kind of grown to accept it and use it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so use that to my advantage rather than try and not be that person. Yeah. Because I'm the McGregor guy, I'm after getting so many amazing opportunities and after doing very well from it. So at the start, I was foolish to try and get away from it because you need to use what you have or what you can. So I don't mind that, and like at times it's a bit annoying, like on nights out when lads are drunk and they're less shy and they see you and they get you in the headlock and they're like, oh, go on, sing the McGregor song. And if you tell them to F off, then they're like, oh, I thought you were sound. And if you humour them, you're caught talking shy for about 20 minutes with two lads who are drunk.
Never meet your hero.
Yeah. So in that sense, but no, like I'm blessed. I'm very, very lucky with how things have gone for me. Like, so I can't complain too much. You know what I mean? If you gave me, would I rather be no one or the McGregor guy? I'd rather be the McGregor guy. Yeah,
very good. Fair enough. And so, what does the future hold for you? What are you working on at the moment?
So it's at the moment I'm actually trying to focus in on this wedding business, wedding song business, because I actually think it's a market that I don't know anyone else does. People seem to love it.
So did they tell you their story?
Yeah, so they basically it's either usually it's a surprise present from the groom to the bride or the other way around, or else it's from the best man or a family member surprise them with this song. So they give me all this information, whatever, like funny stories, how they met, where they've been, where they've travelled, things that happen on nights out, their jobs, bad habits, loads, whatever they can think of. I say anything you can think of, send it to me, and then I put it together with, as a song. And I send it back to them, and I say what you want to take it out, change or whatever. If you want to,
and you don't mind that.
No. I actually enjoy it.
You don't get attached to say, "Oh no, this works," or is
not at all. No, because at the end of the day, these people are paying for it. So, like I said, there's not music snobs, but I think some people can be a bit too. Music's just a bit of crack, like, do you know what I mean? It's for just to be enjoyed, and like you can't take it too seriously. And a wedding song is not something serious, do you know what I mean? It's something that's fun, and so we go over and back until they're happy with it, and then when they're happy with it, usually they do like a video montage or a slideshow to go with the song, and they present that in the wedding itself. And sure, people are always looking for something different to have in their wedding as opposed to other people's weddings, and no one really has this. So I'm trying to get that going because it's something that I think could do kind of well, and no one else is doing it. On top of that, whenever there's missed out on the Olympics this year, I was going to try and do something for that. But they'll come around next year. Sport has kind of been on the down low for the last while, and that's kind of usually my market that I work towards. Do you think you'll always stick to that, or do you think you'll just be, I'm going to move into a different area? Like I always liked the idea of mainstream. Like I had the idea of trying to be a mainstream musician, but like I said, it is very tough to go and do that. I love playing like and singing traditional songs like Dubliners and Luke Kelly, that kind of way. I don't really gig and perform at all. I suppose not that I struggle. I do enjoy it, but when I don't do it for a long time, I usually will dread going doing a gig just out of pure anxiety and just not want to do it for fear people think you're shite. And again, like I said, it's not, people don't care, people don't think about you, but it's hard to convince yourself and you get in your own head. I do. Last two Christmases I've gone to Australia and done gigs and tours there, and I'll do that all day long because when I go there, no one knows. I don't know anyone personally. If it sounds crap, I don't care. But I don't think I've never done a gig in Selbridge because I just have too much fear that if it came across badly, all the lads would be there to see it. So I get abused for the rest of my life.
So you're still kind of holding on to that.
Yeah. Like I like that idea of it, and like I'd love to try at some stage write traditional kind of songs. I have a song written about Selbridge that all my friends at home know and they absolutely love. I'll try and bring that out in the next couple of weeks maybe, or at some stage. And that's something I'd be interested in kind of going about writing. More kind of trad kind of stuff. I have it in my head at some stage. I'd love to write a musical.
Really?
I love musicals.
Well, why not?
And I think it suits my kind of. It's just really, the songs in musicals are specific and they're kind of story and they're wordy and they're like, it's kind of like talking, and I think my songs often are kind of like talking because you don't have to be a fantastic singer to sing my songs. They're all kind of simple enough. So that's something at some stage I'd love to have a bash off. I don't know how that I go, probably terribly, but at least I have a go off it. So that's in my head at the moment. But I'll never. There was a time where I was like, I don't want to write another sports song. I think that was at the same time where I was like, I don't want to be the McGregor guy. But I've come to realise that sometimes you just have to go with what you're good at, and I'm pretty decent at writing a song about a sporting event or about something specific. And if I can do well for myself off that, then I'd be an idiot to be too proud and not to do it. So, I think I'll keep on trying doing that, and as opportunities come, I'll take them.
And that's now your main focus now, to grow your music now, or you just have a nice mix now between your life at the moment, like
where I'm at the moment. I still want to do loads of traveling. That's kind of I'm not like I need to do this with music. Music it's never been number one thing for me to be wanting to do. It's just something I enjoy and have on the side. I'd be fearful that if I took it really seriously, then I'd end up starting to not enjoy it as much, because I'm trying to make things happen and things aren't happening for me. I've been really, really lucky in the way things have always just fallen on my lap, and I've taken advantage of them and done well, but I've never gone after things too much. So I suppose with this wedding stuff, it's probably the most initiative I've ever taken with trying to do something with music. But again, as much initiative as I'm taking, it's still kind of on the side, do you know what I mean? And I'm still going to be playing football, I'm still going to be teaching, and I'm still going to want to go travelling. And there's loads of time yet for me to go write more sports songs and to go write a musical or to write kind of trad songs. So for now, I'm just going to dabble in all those little things and see what happens, I suppose.
Deadly. Mick, we'll wrap it up. Just tell people how you get touched you. They already know. But
go on to my Facebook or my Instagram.
Which do you
Mick
use more?
Konstantin. Probably the Instagram a bit more. But I've had to put it onto our private page now because we're back in school in August, so it used to be a public page. I don't know, I'll have to figure it out with the principal. But the Facebook, or else you can email me on mickmusic92@gmail.com. Or else you can, if you know a friend getting married and you want to have the best wedding song or wedding present of all time, you can go to personalweddingsongs.com and I can sort it out.
Thanks for joining, guys. This has been great, Mick. I'm a huge fan of all your work. Please sure to be checking him out. It's Mick Konstantin. And this has been another episode of Getting Amongst It. As always, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell whoever. We're really trying to grow this channel. It's all about you guys. It's all about Irish people. It's all about getting stuck in, getting amongst it into all topics. And feel free to get in touch. Thanks very much, guys.